Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I'm going to be talking with you guys about some things that that Wargaming has been saying they're going to do in the development blog on their Facebook page. And again, all this stuff, it's all just testing right now. But if they carry through with some of this stuff, I'm going to have several problems with it. So first up, let's talk about the Battleship AP versus destroyers. So and a blog post that Warships put up on their development blog, obviously, they said that they're limiting all battleship AP damage. I mean, if the gun's above 280 millimeters, this is going to affect it. The maximum amount of damage from the shell will not exceed 10% of the maximum value. Now, and then what really gets me is the paragraph they put underneath that, and it says, despite the fact that 10% looks like a small number for destroyers, such an impact will cause significant damage to their HP. For example, the maximum damage of the battleship Montana is 13,500, or 1,350 for destroyers. In a salvo of the ship, 12 such shells and the maximum damage can reach a value of 16,200. For example, the destroyer Shimakaze with 17,900 HP, such damage will be very significant. Wargaming, I want you to really sit down, play in Montana, see if you could actually get 12 shells to hit a Shimakaze that isn't sitting still. Even sitting still, you probably won't get all 12 shells to hit them. On top of that, it's just that last sentence, such damage will be very significant. No shit, Sherlock. There's not a lot of ships in the game that can take 12 Monty shells to their side and it not be a significant amount of damage, including the car first. It'll probably lose at least 20 to 30,000 health if he's broadside, and all 12 Monty shells hit him. Okay, so my first problem with this is this came from the problem where destroyers were angling in quotation marks to maneuvering, and the AP shells from the ships, it was hitting their angled armor. It was acting, because when you angle your armor, it's effectively thicker, and it was acting like it was going through the thickness of the armor that it was angled equivalently to, and going off and detonating inside of their ship. I mean, to me, that sounds like it's working right, because when you angle your armor, you increase the effective thickness of your armor, and if the shell's designed to penetrate, X amount of armor, and the destroyer's angled enough to where their armor is effectively X amount of armor, then yeah, that seems to be working fine in my opinion. But I get it. Destroyers are pretty weak in terms of health, and fine, you want to fix that, okay. I don't think this is the way to fix it though, because I mean, come on, destroyers, you're gonna make it to where we're gonna do 10%. To make it to where battleships are gonna do 10% of their damage to destroyers. Really? I mean, it's bad enough when I fire at a destroyer that's sitting in front of me and it doesn't die, but at least I take away most of its health. Now I'm only going to be doing 10% of my maximum value of damage? What? I mean, maybe I'm not understanding this properly, but the maximum amount of damage you can do is 10% of your maximum damage. So when I overpin them, is it going to be 10% of what I used to do with my overpins? It's confusing. Now, 99% of the time when you're firing at a destroyer in a battleship, you will overpin it. The only time you will pin it is, well, currently, if its armor is angled and you hit it just in the right spot, then you'll pin it and do a good chunk of damage to it. Or if you manage to pin its bow or stern and the shell travels up the length of the ship, since it's traveling up the length of the ship, it's traveling through enough armor to where it arms and explodes. I mean, I don't see why they would have a problem with that. That seems pretty reasonable. But again, I can kind of see with the angling of the armor situation going on. If they want to, fix that, I'm okay with that. But I don't think this is the right way to do it. So on top of that, there is another blog post, and this one, it's like, what are you trying to do? Wargaming to battleships? All right. The Concealment expert captain skill. So everyone's gonna get 10%. Before, it was tiered by ship level. I believe battleships got something like 14% of a boost to their concealment, and it's what. Here's the reasons they give. This change will increase the chance for a destroyer to take evasive action if they meet a cruiser at close range. Make life easier for cruisers by reducing the stealth bonus granted to battleships. Will allow for more variation for specialization by making the skill Concealment Expert less dominant. Also, this change will remove inconsistencies such as a ship of an enormous size receiving a greater bonus to its stealth than that of a smaller ship type. Wargaming, do you even know what's going on in World of Warships right now? Let me tell you what this is going to do to battleships. I get that this is a buff to destroyers, another buff to destroyers. Again, this is all in testing. They're not saying they're going to implement this, so this may not even come to fruition. But this news, I just heard that, and it's just like, really another buff to destroyers. And again, I get it, they're a really weak class, but they also have a huge amount of potential damage that they could do. So their reasoning behind this was basically to give destroyers less of a chance to derp into cruisers. Okay, so why not just nerf the cruisers' concealment? Because most cruisers are already pretty well concealed. You still have the concealment module on there, and the same applies to battleship. Well, not. You still apply the concealment module to battleships. Most battleships aren't really that stealthy. But it's like, okay, you want to fix some of the inconsistencies that battleships, which yeah, they are huge ships, have relatively small detection range. Then why the hell did you give Conqueror its concealment rating? Conqueror still has like cruiser levels of concealment. And instead of just fixing the Conqueror, you're going to nerf the rest of the battleships and buff destroyers. So, let me tell you what this is going to do, Wargaming. With the current state of the game, with the amount of HE spam going on, with the Kitakaze, the Harugumo, the new American cruiser lines, and the original American cruisers, and all the other gunboat destroyers, you're getting rid of another chunk of battleships concealment. Battleships, this is just less incentive for battleships to push forward. And then you went and nerfed the amount of damage battleships can do to destroyers. That's even less incentive for battleships to push forward, because if I run across a destroyer, I'm not going to be able to deal with it in time. Now, yes, battleships have, their guns are huge. They can delete pretty much anything. But when a destroyer crops up next to you and you fire your guns at them and they can only do 10% of the maximum damage to it, what? And now you're making it to where a full broadside from a Montana won't kill a Shimakaze, even if it hits it, even if every single shell hits it. Where's the sense in that? I can delete a Yamato with maybe just 2 or 3 turrets of Amati, but I can't kill a Shimakaze with this new system? At least that's the way I'm understanding it. If I'm misunderstanding this, please someone correct me and I'll make a correction video. But I mean, I know I'm kind of complaining, but it's an issue for me. And no, I don't have the correct answer to how you fix the AP pins on the destroyers, because I don't understand how the game engine works. But what I do understand, that this is kind of a bad thing, and maybe make it do 20%, because I think it's actually 30% right now. But shaving off another 20% and make it do only 10% of your maximum damage instead of 30% of your maximum damage, because I do believe it's at 30% of your maximum damage right now, which is fine. But then you want to shave 20% off of that and make it just 10%. Well, why'd you skip 20 to go to 20% and see how that does, rather than just going straight to 10%? And I mean, it's very strange that now a Shimakaze can tank 12 shells off of Montana and walk away, granted with a very low amount of health, but a Yamato can't tank 12 shells off of a Montana and walk away, and Yamato has way more armor and health than a Shimakaze. Talk about some inconsistencies, Wargaming. Yeah. And that's just my 2 cents on it. I think they need it. And yes, this is all just testing, just preliminary. But if this comes to the game, I'm going to have some big issues with it. But again, that's just my 2 cents on it. I just want to give you guys my thoughts on that. And let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What do you suggest Wargaming should do? All that jazz. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, share the video with your friends. Let's try to get us to 1,000 subscribers by the end of December. Because, I mean, the way we've been going, that we can totally do that. So let's go ahead and get that done, guys. Get us up to 1,000. And again, thank you all so very much for watching. I'll catch all of you guys in the next one.